Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Aho here with KissAnalog.com, and I'm wearing a music t-shirt, Hinder, because I was going to do another audio video, but I got this box and I was just too excited. I have to show it to you guys. It's a Uni-T. These guys have been knocking out of the park. They've got a lot of really nice gear. You see some of it on my bench, like that power supply right there. Got to turn on the display so you can see it. All right, guys, so here's the thing. I've been talking to these guys about this scope for some time. It was in development, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, I'm not going to get the first one off the line. So I did get one, and I'm super happy with this. Now, there's 3 of them in this series, okay? And then there's another higher tier series. But this scope here, the lower one, the 200 megahertz scope, it might be, it's more accessible because it's going to be lower cost. And I think it might be the scope of the year. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think the scope of the year would be and what you want me to compare this to. Now, of course, I can't go out. Well, if I could get the other guys to send me the scope you guys like, that'd be awesome. Chances are, there's certain vendors like Uni-T that are really great to the channel, and other ones I might not be able to get one. So if you want me to compare it to see how it sizes up, we can do it by specs, right? Kind of like Jeeps or whatever else. 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, we can compare specs. The specs on this thing are killer. All right, so here, let me pull it out of the box. I did get it out of the box, see? Just wanted to show you. They package it really well. Box in a box. All right, guys. The top of the box comes another box. And this is going to have all the scope probes and all that kind of stuff in it, okay? So we'll have to, well, here, let's see. Oh, look at that. Okay, we got a power cord, USB cables. Oh, look at this. 2 BNC to alligators. That's nice. And 4 scope probes. All right, cool. Let's pull this thing out of here. All right, guys, it's out, but you can see how well it's protected. This is whoa, that's the front of the scope. Nice piece of foam still. It's that polyurethane foam, I believe. So it's got a plastic bag to keep it from, keep it dry. Okay. Oh, crap. All right, we're back in view. So, yeah, we've got the plastic bag on this guy. I got the handle. Oh, man. Look at that bad boy. Oh, geez. It has a kind of an opaque cover. Jeez. Guys, 10.1 inch screen. That's crazy big, right? I guess I'm going to have to take this off. It's tough when you don't have any fingernails, huh? Oh, geez. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Okay. Whew. That is one nice looking screen. Now, I just see this little compartment says digital. And yes, there's a port in there for your digital probes. Oh, look at that. It's got a little dongle that holds it on there. So a little tether. That's cool. All right, so that's for the digital ports. That's why this scope is called an MSO, mixed signal. So it does analog and digital. 4-channel analog, 16-channel digital. Even from there, you might be able to see the 2 BNC connectors. 2 BNCs. We have a 2-channel ARB generator. That is crazy. Now, you guys know the Rygo scopes, right? The 12-bit Rygos, which this is a 12-bit. But guys, this is also can do 16-bit high res. So, man, it takes it to another level. You've seen videos maybe where I've demonstrated the Pico scopes that have similar kind of numbers, pretty much the same. Well, the Pico, it's it's been one of my favorite scopes, actually. It is my favorite scope. But this guy here, it's a benchtop. The numbers rival the Pico in all kinds of ways. So let me show you this thing. Okay, now the little feet I keep on filling back here, they're in the back of the thing, and there's several positions. That's kind of cool. Wow. So, and it's rubberized all the way around. That's pretty neat. And then rubberized textured feet in the front. So I guess this changes the way you tilt it back or forward, I guess. So that's pretty cool. You know, something else I see right off the bat. There's a Probe Comp 1, Probe Comp 2. What's that all about? Now, on some of the other scopes I've had, like the Pico, you can change the frequency of the compensation. And the mix sig, you can do that, I believe. I think it's a mix sig. Not sure if you can on a GW, I forget. But some scopes you can. This one actually has 2. So that's kind of interesting. Like, why would you want to compensate 2 probes at the same time? Maybe you want to balance 2, compare 2 side by side, and make sure they're on top of each other. That's a good reason to have that. That way you can match 2 probes. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Now, what you might notice from there even, let's come a little closer here. What you might notice on this scope is it's almost sparse looking here. They've done oh wow, it's kind of rubberized knobs. They've done an excellent job of the design here. It's really cool. You know, in the past I've always wanted vertical, horizontal trigger, but in this case it's vertical, horizontal, and trigger over here. So they put those on top, which I don't mind that at all, because I see the design, how it's made it so usable, the space. You got the 4 channels, and then you have the fine position. So you have separate positions for fine and coarse adjustment, which I think that's really cool. You got the math, reference, bus, and digital down here. So really easy to see that. They're not lost in the middle of the field here. And then you got the menu button for the horizontal section, and you got the fine tune and the, you know, the position and all that stuff. So position, vertical position here, the scale here, you know, so man, it's just the multi-purpose knob. And it kind of has a clicky feel, you know, kind of gritty. And there's 2 of them. Wow, an A and a B. Okay, that's pretty cool. A quick menu. Looks like a paintbrush, not sure what that is. Touch lock and default. So this is just kind of a box opening, because guys, this scope is so new. It's going to take me a minute to do a good demonstration of this scope, and so I want to have some time with it, but I wanted to get it out of the box. Now this handle is rubberized. I just noticed that from the back side. I felt it actually when I pulled it out, but you know, now I'm looking at it, I wanted to point that out. So it has kind of a ripple thing here, so has a nice feel, but it also locks in tight because of the rubberized fill. So that's a neat feature. But measure, cursor, analyze. So, you know, in the past where people would group buttons together, the groups are kind of separated in a meaningful fashion. I mean, it makes sense. You got the auto set, the auto norm, 4 single. So you got the trigger functions here with the big trigger knob. These big knobs, I think a lot of people are going to like them, because a lot of us have that tactile thing. You know, when you're trying to adjust things nice and fine tune, it feels good to have, especially a nice rubberized knob like that. Man, I'll tell you what, you know, and I've been kind of a fan of the black scopes that you know, other people, Rigel and have come out with. I think they started it maybe, but I think it's kind of cool looking, because yeah, let's mix up. iTech came out with this black face on this guy back here. I like it. You know, my old Tektronix THS730 here, that's all black. That was blacked out. That was many years ago. So now guys, another thing you might notice here is the channels here. You have your normal BNC connectors, but you also have all those little pins at the bottom. So you can have some specialized probes where maybe they're powered. There's identifiers. When you switch to ×1 ×10, it tells the scope like, hey, I'm there. Now, these probes that came in this kit, they look like regular BNC ones. Got my little face shield here stuck to it. All right, guys. So anyway, it has USB powered here. Geez. So, you know, you can power your probes and what have you that you might, you know, use with this thing. And then look at the back side. You got vents, 3 different surfaces here. Same on this side. And man, there's 2 USBs here, HDMI, another USB, the 3.0, and then your Ethernet port. So everything's there. This guy is, oh look, there's a hard switch here next to the power. Nice touch. Love that. It's nice to be able to physically open the connection, you know, protect yourself from the whatever line voltages, storms, and that. You know, I put things on plug strips so I could turn off the plug strip and turn off everything all at once. But it is nice to have this option. So if you're on the bench, you want to turn off your scope, you can physically do that versus just hitting the soft button, because this is just soft, right? It says, oh, turn off the screen and stuff, but I'm waiting for you to touch me again. So we're all powered up waiting for you to do something, where, you know, a lot of things are that way these days, but I like the option of the mechanical switch. So that was a good touch. On this side, we have an external trigger, auxiliary out, and the 10 meg reference. Wow, that's crazy, right? On a scope, you got the 10 meg reference. You expect to see that on a spectrum analyzer, but on a scope to have that. So when you want to get all your instruments where you're taking measurements you really care about and you want them all synced up, you got 10 meg clock reference back there. That's pretty cool. So guys, like I said, I've been waiting for the scope to hit the market, and thank you, Uni-T, for sending this to me to review to you guys. So they just sent it to me so I can review it. And man, this is every bit of what I could have expected as like a new type of scope. I was really impressed with that Rigel that came out, that 12-bit, ground up for, you know, from the floor up. And this thing, it looks to me like the same way. I can see the metal cages around the fans on the input. So this thing, guys, I'm going to kind of prop this precariously right here. Somewhat precariously. It's actually pretty good. Try to get the glare off the screen so you kind of see it. Okay, you know, I should power it up while I talk to you, huh? Here, let me do that. I'll be right back. Sorry, my bench is a mess because I'm in the middle of, you can see all the cables. I'm in the middle of an audio test that I was going to do that video for you, but I'm sneaking in this one. Hopefully you'll give the video a thumbs up, that you like this video, and that I took the time to do this. Because I was going to get a nice clean bench to show this, and I will. When I fully review this, we'll have a nice place to put this, and we'll take some good measurements and kind of show you the power of this guy. But let's turn it on. Oops, did I turn on the back switch yet? Yeah, I see the red light here. So there's a little red light indicator there. Oh, good. Just a soft touch and it turns on. Wow, R12. Tell me what that means. Is that the processor? The fan is very quiet. Just kind of a, you know, I think they're larger fans, maybe that's why. And then they just went even quieter. That was cool. So they came on initially, like a lot of instruments, you know, where the instrument doesn't know where it's sitting yet, has to diagnose itself, and then turned off the fans. I can't hear them. Love that. Whew, that screen is beautiful. I really want to jump in and bring the camera over and start playing around with it, but because I like to show how intuitive an instrument is, so I like to play with, especially scopes, because I've played with a lot of scopes, a lot of very expensive scopes. Scopes that cost 10 times more than this one. They're not 10 times as good, though. Honestly, the scopes I was using at another defense company. They were 27 grand. And yeah, I'd been using them for, say, 10 years. And this thing, so the 200 meg version of this, here, let me get to the prices. I have to look at my notes, okay? But this guy's a fraction of that cost. Wow, look at the lights around the rings. Oh, man. Okay, wonder if these guys light. I see the rings around, so I think these are going to light up when I do a certain thing. See that? Okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Just so excited about this thing. But yellow rings, the purple, the white ones, and these are turned off right now, so probably when I do something to turn on the feature of these guys, just hit buttons until it goes on. But anyway, super cool, guys. This screen, it's kind of a matte finish, so it's not going to be super shiny like some of the other screens I've seen. 10 inches. That thing's huge. Okay, let's start there. Okay, you know what? All right, guys, this is a little bit different cost category than the Rigos that came out last year, the 12-bit that kind of made a big splash, right? But since you're familiar with them, everybody's seen them, right? There's the 800 series. This is more like the 900 because it has a generator. This actually has two. But so of course it's going to cost more, right? But why? Why is it going to cost more? Well, you get two outputs. Now these two outputs, these generators, not only do you get two, but they're twice as fast as the Rigo 900 series, right? So the best of the Rigo, say the $899, $900, which is a great deal actually. But this guy has two. They're good for 25 meg with the sine wave. This guy's 50 meg. So it's also 16-bit. So just like, you know, the 12-bit resolution, the vertical resolution, when you're measuring the signal, same with when you're generating a sine wave or whatever kind of wave you want to generate with an ARB generator. When you can draw it, you know, you're connecting the dots. How close are those dots connected? Well, with the Rigo, it's 14-bit. This is 16-bit. So you guys know how meaningful 2 bits are, right? It's huge. So anyway, generator, crazy, does Bode plots, all that stuff. So, you know, the FFT and the Rigo is like 1 megapoint, which is awesome. This is 4 megapoints. I mean, it's crazy. So the FFT on this is just crazy good. I mean, we're getting to like a low frequency spectrum analyzer, which this is. So it's a low frequency spectrum analyzer, just like the Rigo is. But this guy, 4 million points, very impressive. All right, so this one's the 500 megahertz version, so it's going to cost more. 200 megs going to look just like it. 200 megs, awesome. But here, let me just tell you. So let's just say, let's compare this to the 924S Rigo. That's 250 meg. This would be, say, 200 meg. That one would be 1.25 gigabit samples per second. So how many samples horizontally you're taking, okay? Well, this one's 2.5, so it's twice as many samples. Now, the Rigo, it can collect 50 million points, which is deep memory. It's awesome memory. It's amazing, okay? This one's 500. It's like 10 times more. That's insane. Like, I thought my Pico had a lot, which it does, but these numbers are nuts, okay? Like I said, 12-bit, just like the Rigo, but it goes to 16 bits. So imagine you're going from 8 to 12, everybody's all excited about. I've been pushing that for years, right? On this channel, you guys have heard me, but 16-bit, and it's called Eres mode. So that's crazy. Now, in digital world, to make it more like analog, you want that deep memory. So when you're looking at a waveform and you want to zoom in on that waveform, you want the horizontal resolution to have lots of memory points, because you also have 12 bits. You want to zoom in and see, let's say on a triangle wave, you want to zoom in and see that little wave. Maybe you're doing a Class D amp and you're putting out 1 kilohertz waveform, but then you see that little fuzzy stuff and you zoom in on it and you see it's a 400 kilohertz ripple from the Class D amp. Well, anyway, that's what this thing's made for, is to detect and to zoom in and look at that stuff. So with the 500 mega points, that's insane. I mean, just crazy, okay? The big screen compared to, say, what was it on the Rigo? Was it 7 or 8 inch? I forget right now, guys, sorry. But anyway, 10 inches, gigantic, So amazing. I want to say the Rigo was 7 inch, but anyway, this also is MSO, so it does have the 16 channels of digital, okay? It does have power analysis too. That's an option. This thing came with the option, the digital thing. Well, there's a pod that plugs in here. If you're going to use it like a logic analyzer, you got to buy that pod. And I'm not sure. I think their pods, like most people, are around a few $100. They cost as much as a cheap scope. It's crazy how expensive the pods are with that. But if you're into digital stuff, doing 16 channel type stuff, then I guess to digital guys that's cheap. So, but whatever. So that's that option. Now, as far as triggering and decoding the different buses, I2C is common one, right? CAN bus, common one. And now the CAN has got different speeds. And so this guy, just like the Pico, I compared to the Pico because the Pico's cost-wise are more similar, but the Pico really has like more of the decode functions than pretty much any scope, I think. This guy rivals that. Maybe it's equal, so I don't know. I haven't compared, but I think it does up to 12. Is it 12 decode functions? That's a lot. But some of the ones for like automotive, CAN was originally meant for automotive. It's been used in a lot of applications because it's so robust. But FlexRay, Cent, I've never used either one of those. If you guys have, let me know. Tell me what the advantages of those are, because now that I know about those, I'm going to have to deep dive and learn about them, because I like to learn about this stuff. And then Eres 429. I worked with that years ago when I was at Boeing. I think the power supply is called the Maui or something, but it was on I believe it's 747, and we were doing some testing in a chamber, and that's the way they talk to that, is to the Eres 429. That's usually meant for pretty serious military or aerospace. And with some scopes in the past, I'm not sure, but I want to say GW would offer it, but it's very expensive. But with the Pico and with this one, it's free. So I believe it's free. I think it comes with it with all these other ones. So there's actually a deal right now when you buy this, that there's a discount and they throw in a package with all these decode functions. So right now it is free, okay, with a bunch of stuff. So guys, all right, so now, it's not really fair to compare this to the Rigo $900 scope and blow it out of the water with all the measurements and all the differences. Oh, that other thing I was talking about. I was so excited, kind of passed up. The vertical resolution, the horizontal resolution, the 2.5 gigasamples, the deep memory. The other aspect of that is when the scope captures all that data and then it goes, okay, I got it, store it, let's go do it again. It's like a blink. It's like when you blink, you might miss something, right? Well, if you capture all that data and you go, oh, good, we got it all, let's store it. Hey, guys, wait, we'll be back with the shovel in a minute. We're working over here. Takes a minute, you come back, that'd be ridiculous, right? You couldn't use a scope like that. So that refresh rate is very important. And with a lot of these scopes today, they're getting very impressive, right? Well, with the Rigo, the one we're kind of talking about, it does 30,000 frames a second. So 30,000 times it goes out and captures all that deep data and stores it 30,000 times. It can go up to 1 million in a certain mode, okay? But 30,000 is what you should be able to count on. Okay, this one, is it twice as much? 10 times as much? A little bit more. It's 500,000. And that's in standard mode. And go to 1.5 million in what they call the sequence mode. So that's crazy. That's just crazy fast. So very, lots of bits horizontal, lots of bits vertical, deep memory. It can store a lot of stuff, allow you to zoom in on those little spots, and it recaptures that stuff super fast. So how close to analog can you get? I mean, man, this stuff's crazy. Compared to my best analog scopes I used to use, I would much rather use this than one of those because I can capture everything, save everything. And so, yeah, analog's dead in scopes, guys. Sorry. These guys, my other scopes on the bench, they all surpass that, in my humble opinion. Anyway, 54 measurements, if I didn't mention that. That's a lot, but 54 seems like it's like almost doubled what they used to say. Let me know. I didn't look it up. It just seemed like a lot. Just kind of wrote it down. But guys, of course, this is a few inches bigger than that Rigo we were talking about. A couple inches taller, I think, and I think it like an inch deeper or something like that. But anyway, so it is bigger, but you have to have something bigger to have that 10-inch screen and still have room to put all this. And they actually gave themselves rooms to put a very nice layout. So thumbs up to Uni-T. I really believe this series is going to be the scope of the year. Okay, price, right? I've been teasing you about that. So the Rigo that I was comparing to is $8.99. This guy's like 4 times that. It's like $25.99. So it's a lot more expensive. The 200 meg version. This one, the 500 meg, is $38.99. So that's expensive, but I mean, with all the things you get with the scope, and I mean, if you compare this to Keysight, Tektronix, the big boys, Roden Schwartz, this is at least 3x less than the thing closest to it, and it's probably still twice as good, if that makes any sense. Those scopes are crazy because they hold back specs because they have this series of scopes that takes you up to the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 price range. And they're like, oh man, we can't give them everything at this price range because we got to hold back memory. We got to hold back this. Okay, in the next series, let's give them that. And then we'll do some extra stuff. And the bandwidth gets, but 500 meg, guys, 500 meg. So let me know if there's a scope that you want me to compare this to, that you want to say, hey, I think you're missing out on this one. It's just as good for about the same price. If you're thinking about the Rigo, they do make one above the 900 series, the 924S. They make a DHO 4804, okay? So that's a 400 meg, not quite as much as this. The memory is still 50 meg instead of 500 meg. So it's kind of like what those other scopes are like I was telling you about the series. They made some things better. Some things they match this, like the bandwidth and that. But in other ways, it's the same as the 900 series. And so this guy, in every category, they just said, we're going to give you this. 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 Okay, we're going to give you a crap load of stuff and a price for the 200 meg under, well, $25.99. And I believe it's 30% off. So I believe you have to check. I don't want, this, who knows when this video is going to be, how long it's going to be up there. But I believe right now, they are giving a 30% off. Plus they're giving a bunch of options for free with the scope. You have to check, okay? But I'm just super excited to show you 12-bit scopes and how, like, guys, this thing, I've used scopes that are $20,000-$30,000 that were not as good as this. Okay, so yeah, it just blows me away that in, you know, less than 10 years what we're getting now. And by the way, I gotta look at the warranty now. I think Rigo does 3 years. I believe this is 5 years, but I might be wrong. I want to say 5, which is crazy. I just remember it stuck in my head because when I saw that warranty time period, I was like, wow. I'm going to correct myself down here if I'm wrong. So look right here. But it just stuck in my head because I went, whoa, 5 years? Wow, that's awesome. I mean, that's as good as anybody, right? So 3 years, I think, with Rigo was amazing. So so I'm talking about the Rigo just because it is an impressive scope that came out, blew everybody away last year. This year, I think this guy, even though it's a different price category, I think what they did is instead of saying, hey, we're going to come out with something a little bit better than the other guys, and what should we do? We could do 12-bit, we'll be the Me Too guys. And, you know, instead of doing that, kind of like Rigo's DHO 4804, where the 900 series is pretty close to that one. Now, anyway, I haven't looked deep into the specs of that. I just looked at the quick glance, and it's kind of, to me, it seemed like a little bit older tech, and the 900 series is the newer tech. And so, you know, it's almost like you don't want your 900 series, $900, blowing away your 3699 series scope, you know, where Uni-T, when they came out this series, this is a 3000 series. I think, what's the other one? 5000 series. It's even more amazing. But this scope in most labs would do, I would say that most people could use this scope in any lab across the country and be happy with it. Now, some of you guys are going, no, because it won't do this, won't it? Like, tell me what it won't do. If you're doing high-speed, video circuits and stuff like that, that's the only thing I can't imagine that maybe this guy couldn't keep up with. But let me know. I think they broke a hole in the ice, and they're out there by themselves right now, and they have a scope that's priced as good as a Rigo that has these specs, which the DHO 4804 Rigo 36, it's $200 less than this one, but it's 400 meg. This is 500 meg. They have, the next one's 800 meg, and it's a lot more expensive. Like, detected in the backyard. I want to say it's like $1,000 more for their 800 meg. So this guy's in between that, and plus, like I said, it has deep memory, has 2 channels, and this crazy thing, comparing, I had a technician one time when I was at Boeing, and this guy, I called him a super tech. He was amazing. He knew we were going to take some readings the next day, and so he took all the probes in the lab, piled them up, and went to the scope and put them on the comp and tried to get 4 probes that were as close as possible, and then he labeled them. And so if he would have had this feature where he could put them top of each other, he could have actually matched them. So, I guess maybe what some of you guys are probably thinking, I'm thinking, is that if you did one, you saved it as a reference signal, then the next one you could do it. But if you're trying to tweak each one, to kind of line up with the other one, then I don't know. I mean, I just thought that was interesting that there's 2 of them. Let me know what you guys think about that and what you could use it for. But hey, thanks for watching. It was a long box opening. I just a little overexcited probably, and I really respect Rigo and what they've done. That's why I was comparing this to the Rigo. So yeah, that 924S, pretty amazing scope for $1,000. But for 2,600, I spent $1,800 on this guy. Okay, the GW. If this guy had been out, I would have bought this 200 meg. I would have came up with another $900 to buy this guy to have, the 200 meg version of this for sure. I mean, nice scope, a little bit older scope compared to this. I mean, this guy with all the features, with the special, you know, you see that little ring around the probes? Okay, I'll try to get a little closer. You see the little ring around there? That's the ×1 ×10 thing. Way back when the scopes first came out and they wanted to have an auto sense, there's a little pin on the probe, right on top of that ring, and it would know that if you're in ×1 or ×10 or ×100 for whatever, you know. So that's what that was used for. Okay, guys, I had to pull out a probe. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to zoom the camera in on that. That is the little pin right there that I'm talking about, okay? That little pin right there. That's the thing that rides on that collar and says, hey, I switched. So it does have that built in. And by the way, these are not switchable probes, which I heard that was going to happen. I'm kind of bummed about that. Like, I don't know why they took away the ×1 ×10 thing. Let me know if there's good reason for that. I don't know why they did that. But so this one, because sure these are ×10 probes, it'll just automatically tell the scope I'm ×10. But yeah, I don't know why they got rid of, you know, why they're getting rid of the ×1 ×10 thing. I think that was a mistake. My personal feeling. Now you have to go out and buy some ×1 probes if you want ×1. So, especially with the 12-bit scope, you know, you can use ×1. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? All right, guys. 2 big thumbs up, Uni-T, for sending this scope out to me. Man, I can just see this being, there's so many videos, so many things, applications I can show. And so the next video, I'm going to do a deep dive into this. And I'm sure it'll be too long of a video if I try to cover everything. So we'll probably just go, yeah, anyway, we'll figure it out. All right, thanks for watching, guys. 2 big thumbs up my patrons and my YouTube members. And Danny, thanks so much. Danny hit that super thank you button last video. Thanks, Danny. Really appreciate that. So nice. All right, guys. Let me know what you think. Hey, guys, give me an idea of what kinds of features you'd like me to do a deeper dive on. The FFT, the generators, the Bode plots. If you want to see it all, a quick video on each one. If you want to see the setup and the whole deal, how much of it you want to see, how long is the video that's too long? Let me know that too. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.